What is going on, Shop Nation? It's your dude Shopmaster back with some more Madden NFL 18 news, and today we're going to talk about the community requests that were addressed by EA Sports in Madden NFL 18. Now, you know, Madden NFL 17 is winding up. Everybody's ramping up for Madden NFL 18, but I like the fact that they put out this blog to sort of address some of the things that a lot of people had concerns about in the community. So I mean, let's just get into it and see what they're talking about. Now, it says, you know, there's long shot, game styles, coaching adjustments, and target passing, to name a few. Those are some of the new features, but they did want to list some of the Madden community's most requested tweaks and how they improve. And the first one is really something that a lot of CFM guys actually were concerned about, definitely wanted. Off-ball injuries. And it says, when playing simulations, players not directly involved in the tackle can be injured now. This was something that it had never happened before. You couldn't get an injury, like if you were running to the right side or whatever and that person was not involved in the tackle, they never got injured. Offensive linemen never got injured during games. It's funny, they would get injured like during sim games, but not during the actual games. And so now you'll see offensive and defensive linemen getting injured. I like what it says. It says you'll want to stay on top of the injury report when an off-ball injury occurs. You won't see an injury animation on the field. The only injury notification under the scoreboard. In some cases, you may see the injury notification after the play, but before the sideline can report on the severity of the injury, the player may have already been in the game. So again, I think that's big, especially in CFM. I just hope they have tweaked the injuries, and so there's not a whole bunch of long injuries, you know, or season-ending injuries. I want to see more of, you know, I got a twisted ankle, or, you know, I banged up my wrist or something that may keep them out one game, or you may be able to press them and put them back in the game. All right, so the second one we're going to take a look at is actually something that a lot of people have texted me about. A lot of people have been in my DMs asking, yo, Shop, can you still just hold Y and Ballhawk all over the place? Now, when I was at EA Play, I actually tried to do this, and you just can't do it. You just can't do it. So it says users on defense can no longer hold Y or triangle for the entire play on defense and expect to make an interception. Ballhawk is now timing-based skill. If the button is held down or pressed for too long, the defender will receive a heavy penalty to his chance of making the catch and will likely drop the ball. You'll see a user skill notification pop up on the scoreboard to tell you if the mechanic was timed correctly or not. Quarterbacks can also fake out user defenders holding Ballhawk with a pump fake. So this is a little confusing because it almost feels like they said, okay, you can still hold down the Y or triangle for Ballhawk, but it's not going to benefit you because the timing's going to be off. You're going to be you know, not be able to catch the ball. Quarterback's going to be able to fake you out and stuff like that. Another thing that a lot of people have asked me about also is the hit stick mechanic, and this has changed too. No longer can you press the square or X button on Xbox One to perform a hit stick. You now only can do it by flicking the right analog stick up and down, which I like. I mean, bringing it back. And I think they've also added the fact that now you have to sort of square up your defender and deliver a clean shot. Now, I tried this at EA Play, and I whiffed so many times trying to do it. I think I probably, at the end of the day, maybe got maybe 2 or 3 hit sticks in, but it's definitely something that when you do it, it's very rewarding, especially with the controller shaking. But when you do it, it's rewarding because sometimes you just can't do it. Sometimes, like, you miss. And so I think hit stick is definitely back, but I like the fact that it's tweaked and that you're not going to be able to just, you know, hit square just when you're around the player and deliver it. Because to me, hitting square is sort of a bailout. Like, you should have to flick in the direction, and now you can also flick up for a high hit stick, flick low for a low hit stick. So ball carrier special moves. Every one of the ball carrier special moves, such as juke, spin, and hurdle, have been updated in Madden NFL 18. The moves are faster and more efficient. The moves are less punitive in terms of fumble chances, and importantly, user control players on defense can now be faked out as effectively as AI control players, especially when attempting to hit stick. So again, they talk about the hit stick. It's not as I'm telling you, it's going to be something that you have to get used to. I think people will get used to it, but at the same time, it's also going to take some time. But I love the fact that the juke, spin, and hurdle can now sort of fake out user defenders too, because it was kind of hard doing that when you had somebody else controlling the defender. Now, dropped interceptions. This has always been a big issue in the community. You know, you see it all the time. A guy oversells a throw, sells a pass, and it goes right to your defender and he drops it. Well, top competitive players have complained about that, and so when you're playing competitive style, if your defender has a good catch rating and is open, there will be a significantly higher chance for an interception will be caught. I definitely saw this out at EA Play. What I will say is I would like there to be even a bonus for a user interception. So if I click onto the guy and I try to intercept it, I want even more of a bonus. So, you know, it says keep in mind you'll still see dropped interceptions in this scenario if the defender's catch rating does not meet the threshold. Catches in traffic can also still result in dropped picks. So again, I want a higher chance if I'm controlling the guy. All right, big thing last year was the swerve. The swerve is gone this year. It was like they said, it was an exploit that was uncovered that allowed receivers to swerve defenders out of position to play the ball. This has been in previous Maddens too. So now defenders will play the ball and not play the receiver. A lot of times when you were an offensive guy, you could take the defensive guy out of position by you going out of position and then at the last second coming back and catching the ball, and that is gone. Curl flat zones, another top community request, because the curl flat zone is supposed to, you know, guard the curl first and then come down to the flat. And a lot of times it would lead the deeper routes down the sidelines and just go to the flat. So they fixed the curl flat zone. Fumble recovery, another big legacy issue, was focused on fumble recoveries. They eliminated the extended piles where nobody could recover the ball. You know, it just looked like a whole bunch of people on top of the ball and nobody was picking it up. So now they added, you know, faster reactions to the ball. So I want to see a lot more scoop and scores, because you do see that in the NFL, especially when a ball is just being out there. Like, there's not a lot of guys that just jump on the ball, maybe defensive linemen, offensive linemen and stuff, but pretty much everybody else is trying to pick the ball up and go. So I would love to see some more scoop and scores in that respect. User control linebackers, another thing that people have been DMing me about, trying to figure out what is going on. Like, can you just take a linebacker and just cover the whole middle of the field? So it looks like they have addressed that as well. I know when I was at EA Play, I forgot what linebacker I had, but I just couldn't get to some of the balls deeper down the field like I could in Madden NFL 17. So that definitely has been tweaked. RAC Drops. This is something that I guess there was a technical issue. It says dropped open racks was one of the biggest technical issues dealt with on Madden 17. Our online team worked on this area extremely with the gameplay team to ensure the problem is solved or resolved in Madden 18. We also did a lot of tuning to the organic knockout system to ensure fewer cases of dropping a catch due to collision once the ball has been secured. Our QA team has spent countless hours of online testing to ensure we have delivered expected outcomes. So I'm a little mixed on this because I feel like I understand rack catches, but I think that's why you should do a possession catch. if you're afraid that the ball might get knocked out because he's trying to run right after he caught the ball, I think there should be a higher chance that the ball gets knocked out. And if you don't want that to happen, then that's why they created the possession catch. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I understand now the whole, running and RAC catching and just dropping the ball when nobody was around was bad. But if he gets hit, I would like to see a couple more drops. We'll see how it plays out. And the good thing is that these things can be tuned, and so we'll see how it plays out. Hard flat zones. Man, this was a bugaboo for me because I love the fact that I can call a flat zone, but he just did not play aggressively. And if you play Madden NFL 17, you could see somebody just constantly going to the flats, and I've heard this all the time. I had a flat guy over there, or why wasn't my flat defender playing that aggressively? Well, now it looks like they play it more aggressively. They did some work on the logic to do a better reading the route progression and take away the throws to the flats because, I'm with everybody else. If I say, oh, look, I want to take away the flats, let me take away the flats, and I don't care if I get burnt over the top or whatever, but there's no way that he should be throwing a wheel route or a swing route to a running back and my flat defender is nowhere to be found. So we'll see. All right, AI Defenders Swat versus Interceptions. Another top competitive community request was to remove outcomes where defenders would swat down what would have been an easy interception. On competitive only, defenders will now always go for the interception on an open read on the ball. So yeah, my thing is just click on. Like, I understand that you don't want it swatted, but if you don't, then just click on and go for the interception yourself. So I'm actually surprised that they did something with that, but it's on competitive only that defenders will now always go for the interception. So we'll see. Directional control of RAC catches. This is something that I talked about when I was at EA Play, and one of the things that I really was, kind of impressed with what they had done. And so directional control of RAC catches allows you to catch a pass near the sidelines and turn up the field immediately. Sort of like when you're catching it, you catch it and then you just turn up the field to go. So no more catching it and then he takes 5 more steps and is out of bounds. So they really, worked on that, and it really showed at EA Play. And so that right there is something definitely that's a game changer, because a lot of times people wouldn't guard the flats because they knew, especially on the short side of the field, they'd be like, look, if he sends a running back in the flat over on that side, I'm not even worried about it because he's going to go out of bounds. He's going to catch it right at the sidelines and he's going to go out of bounds. But that's not the case in Madden NFL 18. So big shout out for them, because I thought that was one of the things that really showed in the game. All right, size and weight factor. And this is something, again, a top community request. The formula used to determine the outcome of hit sticks and impact blocks will now use weight and momentum of players involved in the interaction. You will see far less instances of smaller players successfully landing a hit stick on bigger ball carriers, or wide receivers impact blocking bigger linebackers, especially when not moving with enough speed to make a big hit. So this is big as well. It's funny, a lot of people thought, oh, I thought size and weight kind of mattered already in Madden. Well, no, I guess we hear now that it really didn't matter as much as we thought it did. OT and play now games. So now they changed the offline now play now game now uses playoff overtime rules rather than regular season overtime rules. So basically you can't end in a tie. Low rated quarterback accuracy. Again, something that I think especially the competitive Madden scene probably was a little upset about, is how accurate lower rated QBs were. So complaints about lower rated QBs being too accurate have been addressed with the new inaccurate system. Expect to see more inaccurate throws from lower rated QBs, especially on simulation playstyle. I like that. These inaccurate passes can have new placement modeling, ensuring you will see a wider variety of how throws are missed. So And like last year, if he missed it, he's usually going to miss it long. He's usually going to sail it out into the end zone. I want to see more of, okay, it hits like a yard or 2 yards in front of the receiver. So it might have been on target, but it was too low, or it was a little bit behind him. So I would like to see the variety in how throws are missed. I didn't see this too much at EA Play, and it was probably because I was playing with a better quarterback, but I'm really interested to see how lower rated quarterbacks do in this. All right, slower players catching faster players. This is something that I definitely saw at EA Play. When a fast guy got out, he was gone. Like when a running back broke free and he had speed, he was gone. Same thing with wide receivers. I hope they keep this all year around. They said it was a long-standing legacy issues. Look like EA has fixed a lot of legacy issues in Madden NFL 18. So, all right. And the big one, which I have sort of been campaigning for a lot, is the position-specific defensive hot routes. And we're not going to go too much into it, but it definitely was key. And the one that I really want to take a look at, as it shows you, you know, what's outside DB, what hot routes can you do. Slot DB is a little bit different. As you can see, you can't do as many hot routes as a slot DB. Deep half safety, deep middle safety, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, and 4-man line defensive end. Defensive tackles. I think defensive tackles is the one thing that I felt like, okay, look, there's no way you should be able to put a defensive tackle in a blue zone. Now, I understand why people do it, but realistically, you shouldn't be able to do it. So I like the fact that they can only go into vertical hooks or a couple of hook curls. You can put a defensive tackle on man blitz, QB spot, bluff blitz, that's all fine. But putting them in a deep blue, no. Or a seam flat, no. So I'm glad they addressed that. So guys, that's going to do it. Those are all the fixes or legacy fixes that EA has done for Madden NFL 18. Let me know in the comment section, what fix do you feel that was in 17 that needed to be on this list. Stick that like button, subscribe to the channel, and guys, I will talk to you guys on the next video. Shop Nation, stand up. This is your dude, Shop Master. I'm out. Peace.